knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're an Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I would slap you.
Go ahead, make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show. I appreciate you being here. We're going to discuss the race relations in Sanford, Florida. I have with me Pastor Alan Brumback. He's the lead pastor of Central Baptist Church out of Sanford, Florida. He's a white guy. And also Reverend Arthur Choice of Grace Covenant Church in Sanford, Florida. He's a black guy, black pastor. And they both are here to help us deal and understand with what's happening in Florida concerning the race relationship. Good morning to both of you guys. Thanks for coming on. I want to get right into what's happening down there because we have a lot of folks who are concerned about the race relations, not only in Sanford, Florida, but around the country. They don't appear to be good at this point. Pastor Allen, I saw you in a video, and so I'll start out with you first here. Mm-hmm. You appeared in an Associated Press video recently, and I just want to play that soundbite for the folks so they can have an idea of what you said, and then we'll take it from there.
All righty.
Okay.
Brumback has joined with leaders of African-American congregations at rallies in support of the Martin family. But he rejects criticism that predominantly white churches don't see the issues.
I think that it's been sensationalized, that there's a divide, that here you have the African-American churches here that are standing united, and that the white churches are sitting in the corner twiddling their thumbs.
Brumback thinks that while visits by nationally known figures have rightly focused attention on the police investigation, he must also minister to many members of the Sanford Police Department. Officers, he says, are afraid for their safety and their reputation.
We're going to be dubbed as a city, as a racial city in the South, whether we like it or not, whether it's true or not. We're going to be dubbed that way. And what we have to deal with now is cleaning up the wreckage. It's as bad as a tornado coming through our city. If the grand jury convenes and they don't indict him and he's free man, I think it could be disastrous here.
Brumback says he and other pastors are determined to stop that from happening. He and leaders from several denominations will be meeting this week to help prepare and plan for the outcome of the investigation, whatever it is.
In that video, folks, when the pastor referring to if this case doesn't turn out, if this guy gets off, he's referring to Joyce Zimmerman. Pastor Brumback, let me ask, what was race relationship like prior to Joyce Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin's situation?
Yeah, I think the city of Sanford has had kind of a unique history, and there's been some things that have happened in the past couple of years that have kind of brought up some areas that have been sensitive in the area of race. But I think the city of Sanford, before the media got a hold of this story, this was just sadly, I think it was just another shooting. I think the race relationship has been bad over the years, but it kind of had gotten to where people had slowly gotten over it. I think a lot of it's because the people who are from here, the Old South, has kind of changed because you have a lot of influx of new people living here. So I think that things were getting better in some areas, but yet other areas were not so much. And then when the Trayvon Martin incident happened on February the 26th, it kind of exposed something that was going on that a lot of people may not have been aware of.
Reverend Choice, what do you say the race relationship was like prior to Joyce Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin?
Well, when I look at the race relation situation prior to this, it's kind of status quo. It's kind of half and half. There are some people that do not look at issues closely, just not in Sanford, just not in the United States, but it's still yet a problem that's all around the world. And all it takes is for a spark to bring those feelings that we have to the background, to the forefront. And I think that the big problem is because of lack of education in that area of race relationship. Also, there's prejudice, which we all have, and sometimes we don't know that we have those prejudices until we get to certain situations.
Are white people trying to be superior over blacks today?
Yeah, well, I think not necessarily, but I think that people want to be superior over other people. It's not necessarily racial as much as it is just we want to be superior over other people so we can feel better about ourselves, find a better identity, our security in ourselves, what we have, what we own, and even in our race.
Do you agree with me that black people are more racist and prejudiced toward whites than whites are blacks?
And I think this is where I'm limited because I'm white and I can't necessarily say either way on that.
Why not?
I think that for me to say that black people are more prejudiced than white people, I don't want to generalize that situation. I think that prejudice exists because you have pride that exists, you have ethnocentrism that exists, you have.
But between those two races, who do you think are most racist?
I would say that we both have our own blind spots. I think I would agree with Arthur. That Pastor Arthur, in the sense that racism is a blind spot, and the only way that you
well,
can
we know
remove
what it is, but I'm trying to understand which group is worse: the blacks toward the whites, or the whites toward the blacks.
I think in recent days, in certain areas, that perhaps black people have a more negative view of white people, more suspicious view of white people because of history.
So it's fair to say that blacks are more racist than whites then?
I think that it's fair to say that in certain areas of the country.
And what's your response to that, Reverend Choice?
Well, to look at the situation, I really can't say whether the blacks or the whites are more racist than the other, but I do know that there is racism among both.
Let me ask you, Reverend Choice, do you agree with me that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, the NAACP, the Congressional Black Caucus, and most of the black preachers are race hustlers, poverty pimps, that they're racist?
I won't say that all of them are, but I know that in the clergy there are some that, I'll put it like this. All Christians, or everybody that profess to be Christian.
Because of time, let's stay with the question. Do you agree that Sharpton and Jackson and all those people are racist and race hustlers, poverty pimps?
No, I don't.
You don't think Al Sharpton is a racist?
No, I don't.
How about Jesse Jackson?
No.
How do you explain that the only time they show up is when it's a white on black situation? If it's black on white or black on black or Hispanic on black, you don't hear from these people. How do you explain that if they're not race hustlers?
Well, what I heard Al Sharpton said was that...
No, stay with the question. Why do they only show up when it's white on black situation?
Well, if you let me answer this, it may answer that because I heard him state that the only reason he was here was because he was requested.
So go back to my question. Why they only show up when it's white on black? And you're right. Trayvon Peterson, the lawyer, apparently invited this guy down there. But why do you think those people only show up when it's white on black if they're not race hustlers?
Well, it may be because they are being requested by the.
But they're not being requested in all these situations. They're not being requested.
But I don't know that. So for me not knowing that, then I cannot comment to that.
Reverend Pastor Brumback, do you agree with me that Sharpton, Jackson, NAACP, the Congressional Black Caucus, Urban League, and most of the black preachers are race hustlers? They are racist.
I don't see that I can quantify and pigeonhole all of them in that.
How about Jesse?
I've met with them. I've shook their hand. I don't agree with their politics. I don't agree with a lot of their morals. But to say that they're racist, I can't necessarily say. The Bible says you can judge them by their fruits.
Well, you've seen some fruits from Jesse and Sharpton over the years.
I think they're opportunists more than they are racist.
So you don't think that Sharpton and Jackson are race hustlers?
I think that they're opportunists. I think they can use situations like this to their advantage. To say they're racist, they weren't racist to me. They treated me very nice, but that doesn't mean they're not opportunists. And I think that
Are you afraid as a pastor to tell the truth about these people?
No,
What would happen if you told the truth?
No, I'm not afraid to tell the truth.
But you're
at
not
all.
telling the truth right now because everybody and their mama know that these people are racist. What is holding you back from being honest about that?
I think where I'm at on this is that they're opportunists, and you can see that by how they are looking for an opportunity to be involved in something. I know that when I went and saw some of the events that they wanted to play up for the media, that they did everything to play up for the media, like Jesse Jackson undoing his tie as he got out of a limo to get into the march and looked like he was all perspirated. You know, I saw Al Sharpton as pastors were up praying. He was just running his mouth and talking and doing whatever. I think they're opportunists. That perhaps they could be charlatans. Are they racist? I would say, if you want my honest opinion, I don't know.
That's amazing. The KKK, are they racist?
I believe absolutely they are, yes.
How come you're able to say it about them but not Jackson and Sharpton?
Because I've never heard them necessarily defame. Have I heard them defame white people? Have I heard them defame other races? Not necessarily.
You've never heard them defame white people?
Well, I've heard them talk bad about white people. Are
so
they
is that
racist?
defaming white people?
Well, I think that we talk bad about people in general. I think they're
Amazing.
opportunists. I think they use race as their opportunity. I think they say these things to make money. I think they say these things to get publicity. And if that makes them a racist, then they are.
Reverend Choice, why are you afraid to say that these people are racist? What is holding you back? You're a pastor as well.
What I've told you was the truth from my perspective.
How
now,
can you not see that these people are racist?
Well, I don't see it. In essence, as simple as that. And that's my statement because...
Is David Duke a racist?
Who? David Duke?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'm sorry?
Talking about from New Orleans?
Yes.
Yes. I was there.
So
when,
how come you're able to see that David Duke is a racist, but not Jackson and Sharpton and the rest?
Well, what I'm saying is from my own perspective. But yes, I saw and I heard what David Duke said.
But you also have seen and heard what Sharpton and Jackson have done and said as well. Okay.
Well, like I said, when Sharpton came here to Sanford, he said that his main purpose was what? Justice. All right. So,
But why not justice for black on black crime or white on black on white crime? More black people committing crimes against white folks than the other way around. Where's the justice for white Americans?
I don't know.
You don't know. Dennis Herbert from my Facebook want to know, what will it take for black Americans to become fully integrated into American society? That's from Dennis Herbert. How do you respond to that?
I think through education, through the issues, looking at the root cause of the issue, because a lot of times what we deal with perceptions.
What issues are you referring to? Which issues?
I'm talking about when we're talking about racism, prejudice, or whatever. A lot of times, what we do, we skim along the surface, but we never look at the root cause of it and what it is.
And sure, what is the root cause?
Belief, wrong belief, where some people believe that they are created better than others, and it's natural for them to feel superior. But the right belief is, since God does not show favoritism, then just like it says in Romans 2:11, it says God does not show favoritism, and if we show favoritism toward one another, then we sin. But it all reverts back to sin.
Let me go back to Pastor Brumback.
I think that what you're going to have to happen is you're going to have to see, for full integration of not just black people, but people of all ethnic backgrounds into American culture, you need to see the United States of America turn to Jesus Christ and receive Him as their personal Savior.
But Pastor,
and
most
believe
of these
the gospel.
black people would tell you that they believe in God, and we all know that they're racist toward white folks. And white people have done everything they can do. Everything that black people have asked for, they have done it. They have integrated the schools, the communities. They gave them affirmative action. They took out the fathers away from the homes and gave them the government to take care of them. There's nothing else for white folks to do. At some point, you got to tell the truth about black racism. Unless they overcome that, they're never going to get better unless men of God have the courage to tell the truth. There is no truth. I'll let you respond to that when I come back. Amazing stuff.
This has been the Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show, produced by Bond Action. To access the full version of this show, visit us on the web at bondaction.org.